Pakka Indian company. I love reading the comments. Hi guys, what's up? We're just tripping on the comments now because we're sitting and watching all the comments and we're like, what's happening? Always late and stuff. But today is about time management. That's why we put a very big clock in the background, as you can see. Sharp at 8 o'clock also, weirdly, even though it isn't. So today we're going to talk about time management, especially in today's date when it's 2021 and most of us aren't even working. We're sitting at home, work from home kind of a thing.
That still works, Shashank.
It's like working from home. I can't understand the concept of work from home. Still, it's very weird. But yeah, a lot of people are working from home, so there's a lot of different time management because you're sitting on a laptop and you're working very religiously, and then your mom says go to the market and get some bindi and come back. So your time management has to be awesome at that point. So we're going to talk about some hacks. We're going to talk about some time management techniques and how we manage our time usually, right? And how we have actually set in a routine with this. So we're going to talk about that.
Cool. So look, when it comes to managing time, to be honest, it is probably 10 times harder for me because I'll tell you a secret, right? So when Shashank and me started Avalon, this is like a few years ago, his sleep cycle was normal, okay? And my sleep cycle was ruined. So I have this issue where I sleep 1 hour later every single day. Yeah. 1 hour later every single day. It doesn't matter what day it is, what event, 1 hour later every single day. And when I met Shashank and we started living together, I just wouldn't let him sleep till I slept. I'd be like, hey, let's think about this, let's do that. Okay? And then what eventually started happening is Shashank's sleep cycle got ruined too. But now he's married, now his sleep cycle is stable, he wakes up at the same time every day, but I don't. I still wake up and sleep 1 hour later than the previous day.
But why is that? Is it because you can't manage time, or is it just work? Is there that? Or is
I don't
know,
know, my brain can't switch off in the night.
So if you're thinking about something, you can't switch it off.
Like I don't get sleep. Like even if I'm really peaceful or tired or whatever, I will not be able to sleep till 1 hour. See, the human brain, Shashank, is actually entrained to a 25-hour cycle. It's not 24-hour.
Yeah.
It just seems like it's 24-hour because of the way our clocks work.
Yeah.
But actually, it's a little longer than that. When we see light, when we exercise, things like that, that makes it a 24-hour cycle. Yeah. And we call these cues essentially tune us to when we should wake up, when we should eat, when we should sleep.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, with me, I try these cues. I try using these cues. I try sitting in the sun in the morning. I try exercising in the afternoon. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Right. So I've kind of admitted that this is part of my life, and I have to live with this.
Fluctuating.
And Shashank has kind of seen the repercussion of this. Like the repercussion, for example, when we're talking to VCs and they book a call at 11 in the morning and my sleep cycle is such that I wake up at 4 in the evening, it is a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. We were part of the Lightspeed Extreme Entrepreneurs program. My sleep cycle literally shifted twice during that, during the period. So it's hell. So I guess if you can manage it, try sleeping and waking up at the same time every day.
I still remember, I think in labs time, early in the morning, we used to have these important meetings that you can't miss at all. Like say at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. and there's no chance we'll get up, right? Both of us. I think you used to sleep even later. I used to sleep by 3, 4 a.m. Somehow I'll get up, take a shower. I'm like, important meeting, we have to go. But you would not get up, and then I have to wake you up and you get ready. And then we're both in this grumpy mood and we're like, okay, somehow we have to wake up and actually go for these meetings. It's horrible. But that is a sad thing, right? Because at labs time, we used to cater to the US timings, so we used to stay on US timings for a very long period of time. Then we came to India, we had to do both. And that was very difficult. But now I think, actually now we're just doing too many things. I feel there's too many things going on at the same time. So that is why the nights are longer than usual, what we do.
Yeah, I think if you can manage to wake up early in the morning or like at any particular time, and it's okay to even be a night owl. Like as long as you're getting 7-8 hours of sleep, it's completely fine. Usually people who have my disorder where they sleep 1 hour later every day are completely fine, right? It's just that they can't fit into the world's or society's schedule. Yeah. And I really struggle. That's one of the things is I feel like, especially before COVID, I don't think I could have ever worked for somebody because of my sleep cycle. Yeah. Right? It was just impossible for me to make it to work every day. I'd just be really groggy. I have no idea how I completed college. College was hell. Like I'd wake up, I'd go to sleep
5 a.m.
2 hours later I'd wake up and go to class, right? So I'm pretty sure you guys do that too, but for me it was like, even if I try sitting in bed 8 hours before that, it's no use. But here's one tip, right? Here's one tip, assuming that you're able to solve your sleep. And one method that you guys can probably consider is using melatonin, right? If you want to reset your sleep cycle, especially when we used to get jet lag 2-3 years ago traveling, we take melatonin about 3 or 4 hours before we went to sleep, right? And it would immediately reset our sleep cycle, right? But we didn't want to stay on the drug obviously forever, so we had to kind of manage it by ourselves. But that's one way you can pull your sleep cycle back. The other way, which we used to do very often, is push the sleep cycle, which means that we'd wake up, instead of sleeping 1 hour late, we'd sleep 3 hours late, 4 hours late, 5 hours late, right? So
and we should be like zombies also, like literal zombies. So there were times where we used to be up for 32 hours straight. 24 was very normal at that point. 24 hours straight was very normal. 32 hours. And then after 32 hours, you're already in zombie mode because you don't understand what's happening. You're just like, yeah. And then you crash for another 15 hours. Like you just sleep straight for 15 hours. And then you get up very weirdly refreshed, right? But then by the time we get up, it's 4 a.m. in the morning.
By the way, which cycle do you prefer, day or night?
Night.
Why? I agree, but why?
So I don't know why. I feel that people have their own routines and rhythms. I feel that I'm more comfortable in the night because it's very peaceful. When I'm involved in something or doing something and I get into it, right? And in the day when I'm into something and I'm just into it, trying to connect whatever, suddenly I get a call, the maid calls or somebody calls or someone rings the doorbell. It's damn annoying and I get distracted very fast after that. And it's hard to come back and go back into that super focused zone. In the night, especially after 11:30, 11:45 is perfect because there's nobody there.
And I feel no expectation in the middle of the night. Like there's no expectation of somebody to like open the door or do this or do that.
It's very 90% of the distractions are gone in the night, right? No stupid calls coming saying, sir, you want insurance, sir, you want this. Nothing at night. Nobody calls at night. True. But I've seen a lot of people trying to, I don't understand this. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. I'm not a judge of that. But I see a lot of people saying you should get up at 5 a.m. Set a routine at 5 a.m.
Robin Sharma, 5 a.m.
Not only Robin, so many people, 5 a.m. work week and get up at 5 a.m., set a routine by this, this, sleep at 9 p.m. stuff like that. I tried that also. I got up at 5 a.m., set a routine up. By 8 o'clock, I was like, what am I doing? Because all the other employees were in the other cycle, right? So everyone used to start 10. So 2 hours I used to waste. And then in the night, when we get active like this, at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, I'm sleepy. Right, so maybe it didn't work for me. So I was like, but a lot of people say that is the only way to do things, and nothing else is right. But I feel night is also fine.
Yeah, as long as you're getting 8 hours of sleep, I think don't worry about when you wake up. And obviously we want to start the time management episode with when do you wake up, right? What's the right time to wake up? So don't stress over it. Just if it's 3 a.m. in the night that you wake up, if it's 3 in the afternoon that you wake up, it's completely fine. What I would really suggest you do is start putting the blocks in your environment such that it works with your sleep schedule. So, for example, if you're a night owl, then maybe it would be wise for you to work remote at, say, a US company or a Canadian company. Yeah. Actually, not Canadian, maybe US company. Yeah. And the reason for that is they work on your schedule, right? And you will be distraction free. You'll be able to actually, put your effort on whatever work you're doing, and also have so much free time to learn. One of the reasons I feel like people struggle with learning is because, or learning something new, is because they just feel too swamped. They're just like, we don't have time. We're being pulled away by this, this. And I get it. I understand. And I would probably be the same if I was on the day cycle. Yeah. Right? What's next, Shashank? Like, how should people approach like school and work? Like because that's the biggest chunk, right? Like, how do you manage your time at school or work?
So I'll talk about first work part because I have a funny thing to say, right? When I first came to Avalon, initially, like when you're in a startup, there's no single role. It's not like, okay, Shashank, I want to do finance. That doesn't work because you're doing everything at that point. I remember when we were starting our first YouTube channel, you need to make YouTube thumbnails, right? And you were an expert in Photoshop, I wasn't. I remember that. And I made this horrible thing on Photoshop trying to learn from Google, and Varun comes and he's like, this is shit, make the whole thing again. And I was like, okay, but I don't know Photoshop. And I'm like, dude, you're an expert. It'll take you 5 minutes, make a thumbnail for me. Like, if I do it, you'll never learn. Now, that one thumbnail took me around 40-45 minutes to make just an average version. Then I kept watching videos, kept trying to do it again, came on 15 minutes, right? The time management on that perspective, if you're doing the same thing again and again, or you master a particular skill, it's that first 45 minutes where you cry the most, right? Oh my God, I don't understand this, I don't know this. You procrastinate. 90% of the time you leave it and not do it. But you should understand that if you do it multiple times, it starts reducing your time to do it, and you have 30 minutes extra in a day freed up, right? Which is not normally not. So for work, I think start setting up processes. Mainly, I'll tell you what happens in work. I used to, like when I was in IFL, this was a really big problem for me. My whole day till weekend was like a robotic cycle. Get up at 7 a.m. Okay, go to office by 9. You have to reach, and Bombay there's 1 hour traffic. 9 to whatever 7 p.m. I used to stay there. Again, come back. I used to get 1 hour after coming back to eat, watch something on Netflix, and go to sleep. That's it. The next day, get up and start again. So I realized that Monday to Friday, though I'm screwed up, I can't do anything. But I ensured Saturday, Sunday at least have most of the time free, right? Just to do whatever I want. But then mostly work used to be there. Obviously your boss calls you and stuff like that, but you still try to get that free time for your peace of mind or go out somewhere. But it's very difficult sometimes to manage your time if your time is not your own, if it's managed by someone else, like school.
Yeah, the thing is, I feel like humans can do maybe 3 or 4 hours of productive work a day.
And that's enough.
And the rest is just like wasting time. Like I'm talking specifically in work now.
Yeah.
You go to office, you'll bicker. You'll talk nonsense about somebody else.
Yeah.
You'll eat food.
Lunch
You'll order chai. You'll order chai again. You'll order chai third time.
Chai break. Yeah.
Right? You'll, you'll probably just stare at your screen.
Yeah.
I've seen people who just right-click refresh on the computer. And I don't know if you know which employee I'm talking about. This is all the way in the past. He used to just keep doing that on the computer. And this is the time when we were services company, right?
And all tabs also. Constantly all tabbing for no reason.
So I would go stand right next to him. He's just like right click refresh. And just like stare at his screen and stare at him. And the thing is, he'd look at me. He'd look back at the screen. Right click refresh. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, no, I'm waiting for a file from that guy. I'm like, why don't you do the rest of the work?
Yeah.
Right? And what I found is that in a company specifically, this communication gap between people, right, is where most of the time goes. Yeah. I'm waiting on that person for this.
Yeah.
And what I found is that if you have documentation, some documentation as to what the process is, who is doing what, you understand as a manager what's going on. But B, more importantly, you know what the flow is as an employee. So if it's number 3 or number 4 task and you're currently at number 2 waiting for the first guy to send you number 1, you can start working on 3 and 4, right? The problem, and most employees know this, is that if I do too much work, then I'll be given more work.
Yeah. So we'll spread it across 30 days.
Yeah. So I feel like that comes from school and college, because a 1 hour class is 1 hour.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice. Like you have to sit in that 1 hour, whether you're sleepy, whether you're active, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I feel like we should, if you really want to be productive, if you want to be like, top of the line, I think you have to work in a good company that recognizes that 2 hours of your time is worth 8 hours of somebody else's time.
Process.
Like a company that understands that, and B, use the technology to make it happen.
Yeah.
Right? Use the technology like Envato Elements, for example. When we do thumbnails or graphic design or whatever, posters, whatever, sometimes if it's an ad, sure, we'll use our talent to custom make something. But most of the time these days it's just Envato Elements. Especially if it's like YouTube thumbnail or something, we just flick it from Envato Elements.
Yeah.
When we're making landing pages, I do not in the company let anyone make landing pages. Like Shashank's seen this. I'll abuse people. I'll be like, don't make the landing page. Use a tool.
Yeah.
Right? Use Webflow or use Unbounce or something like that.
Yeah.
Don't sit and like manually do it, because that's going to now then you're doing just like pretend work, right? And then what happens when you start compressing this, like from 8 hours a day to 2 hours a day of really focused work and start relying on tools, you realize, holy shit, everything in the company can be done much, much, much faster.
Yeah.
Right? And then at this point, most people start side businesses.
Yeah.
But Shashank, tell me, why does this come from college? Like, what is this idea of you have to sit 1 hour?
I'll tell you what, see, in college, your time is not run by you, right? You have no option, right? You have to reach the assembly line at 9 a.m., stand in the assembly line, say that prayer, go to your class, and you know for the entire day which class is scheduled for what time, when the lunch break is there and stuff like that. Over a period of time, your mind tends to deal with it, right? Okay, I have 1 hour, I can't bunk this and go. That's why when you go to college and you have that ability to bunk, you bunk more than you sit lectures, right? Because you have that option to get out, you have that escape. Okay, but again, once you go back into a job, that again feels like a school, not like a college, because you can't bunk jobs all the time. So when you go back, you're like, okay, shit, I have 30 days. They're going to pay me for 30 days, irrespective of the work I do. So might as well just do time pass. Now, a good job, okay, would say you need to make 30 phones or maybe put software in 30 phones. But if you do 35, I'll give you extra for those 5.
It should be incentivized.
Every task or maybe one task or a repetitive task should be incentivized with key KPIs, right? Key performance indicator. If you do KPIs and you say, good job, you did 100, but if you do 150, I'll give you this much, they will work hard.
That's why freelance is so awesome, no?
You can do it for yourself.
Yeah, because you're paid by the hour.
So you know your time.
Yeah, and you can say, look, I produced this in like 2 hours. I think I'm worth $50 an hour, $75 an hour. Now you respect your time. And if you really want to work 8 hours a day, then you're making so much more.
Yeah. And then you start taking up more projects also.
Exactly. And that's what I used to do, right? Like Shashank. In the beginning, it was like low ticket, like being paid low per hour and just wasting time essentially.
Yeah.
But I was also learning. So I understand. But once I learned stuff, I used to go to clients and just say, bro, this is my asking rate. And I used to like work 2-3 hours for the client, pick up the next client, work 2-3 hours for him.
Yeah.
And I really just maximized that capital. So, and the cooler thing about freelance is when you're done, like you don't want to freelance anymore, you can probably take or you want to take a break. You can take a break for 2 months.
Yeah.
You can just be like, bro, I worked 3 months worth of effort last month because I put in the effort. Now I want to chill.
Yeah.
Now I want to go outside and just like have fun.
Yeah.
But you can't do that at work.
Because
if you say,
because
if you tell your boss, I'll work, 1 month's worth of work in 10 days, but I want to take 3 months off, your boss is just going to be like, huh? Just quit instead.
No, he'll be like very happy. He'll be like, very good job. I'll give you a promotion, stay here only, we'll give you more work.
Exactly.
That's how it is.
But the thing is, they waste, essentially you can't, at work if I say I don't want to work for 3 months, you'll get fired.
Yeah.
Right? No, no matter how good you are.
Vacation, enjoy.
No matter how good you are.
Yeah.
I think the only way to really incentivize what I found, you can also share your experience. The only way that I found you can incentivize somebody at work, especially the best people who charge a lot, say if they were freelancing, is through equity.
Yeah.
And you tell them, bro, if you do things faster, if you do well, the valuation of the company goes up, you make more money.
Yeah.
Again, it's incentivized.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you don't have equity in a company, you're just like a zombie.
Yeah. Or get paid for the extra work that you do. Right? When people appreciate your time or know your time, you actually put in that extra effort. Or else, a lot of people in India, especially when they sit in front of that computer, they're already sad that they've reached at 9 a.m. in front of a computer. And they're like, shit, I have to work again. But if you were incentivized for each hour or each minute sitting there, that's why you see these call center guys so excited. Right? Because every call they do, everything they get a massive bonus.
Even the Dunzo Swiggy guys do that, no?
Yeah, they keep coming and saying, review, give me a review, give me a review. Why? Because they have a fixed. But over and above that fix, they get a massive bonus. Even the Uber guys, I remember, they had 10 rides that they had to do where they used to get some money. 100 rupees per ride is what they get. And if they finish 11th ride, they get a 1,000 rupee bonus.
Yeah.
Now, 1,000 rupees for them in 30 days is massive. So, everyone was hitting for that 11th ride. So, but they're on their own time. Even though they're on Uber's time, but they're on their own time. So, it's that weird illusion of reality kind of a thing. So, in school, you don't have any option. You're on someone else's time and your body starts to deal with it because you have no option of escape. College, you have an option of escape. You try to make both ends meet. Job, you're back to school, right? You're back in your thing. But if you're freelancing, you're your own boss, then...
Or if you have equity.
Because
it's then your company, right? If you have equity, it's your company, so you actually care about the outcome.
Yeah. No, because when you work for yourself is when you start managing your time the most, right? Because you feel that if I'm wasting 3 hours, I'm like, shit, what am I doing for this? I just wasted 3 hours. I could have done something here, I could have done something there and figured it out. And a lot of people, I've heard people saying this that, dude, I don't have time in the day to finish this. There's so much to do and I don't have time. I feel you can finish everything. If you actually sit, take a coffee or whatever works for you, green tea, coffee, whatever, just sit, make a list as like people use Trello, Notion, whatever. There's so many Calendly.
Notion is a very good
Notion's
tool.
very good, yes. Just make a list, tick, 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 tick. I use sticky notes on the computer. Just list out what is there and then start deleting over the day. Yes, sometimes you'll procrastinate, I'll do this tomorrow, whatever. But at least you start doing it or else it plays with your mind. Really plays with your mind.
Yeah. I feel like, one statement that you said, which is, everyone has time.
Everyone has
It's
time.
not like if somebody says, I don't have time, I think, at least now, and we've learned this now, when you're doing too many things and there's just a lot to accomplish, especially at a startup, and there's so many people to manage, you need to have not just a sticky list, but a sticky list that is ordered.
Yeah.
The word is prioritization.
Yeah.
We prioritize and we let some fires burn.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the meaning of let some fires burn. For example, our audio course right now on Avalon Voice, even though it's been like just 2-3 days, is like, Yeah, it's very expensive. It's super expensive. But here's the thing, that's not something we need to deal with right now. It's a fire. We need to fix that because of the quality of audio we're delivering. But it is smarter to fix that 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
Couple of months later. Right now, we need to fix, onboarding. We need to fix performance. And that attitude towards life is also great. For example, I ordered something from the US. They needed me to
sign the code.
not sign. Your customs.
Custom
You
duty,
need to put your passport and this and that. That they said you have to do this within 24 hours. So that's obviously number one priority. Number two is we have meetings tomorrow. So I need to prep for each of those meetings.
Yeah.
That's number two priority. Then, for example, my pro league, right? I have to prepare for whatever I'm doing next week. So that's number three priority. So I've got a list of priorities.
Yeah.
And I make sure that I keep rearranging that priority list. Like people know that you have to take notes, but what you don't know is you have to take notes in order.
Yeah. So you're saying don't just do the easy things.
Yeah.
Right?
Do the things that are urgent.
A lot of people even say the hardest thing you should deal with first. Rather just deal with what's important.
And don't get anxious about, what is going to happen in 6 months, 8 months. Take it 1 week at a time. Plan. When you're planning, think about 6 months. But on your day-to-day, when you're executing those tasks, don't think about the long term. Try to avoid thinking about the long term.
Then you'll procrastinate. That's when you procrastinate. Yeah. So that's completely very bad if you start procrastinating, because that before you start only you've given up, and then you make all that list on Notion. I've seen a lot of people wasting time on that also. Literally.
Don't get into list.
Dude, oh
list
my
making
God.
mindset.
I have seen people, I'm like, okay, make a tracker. And that tracker takes 5 days to make the tracker, which should be implemented in 5 days. It's the things that have to be implemented. And they're like, we're just finalizing this. We're trying to rearrange it according to priority, and the tracker becomes a priority to finish now. And a lot of people do that. That's again a sign of procrastination.
Yeah, I've seen people taking a Notion course.
Yeah.
The thing is, they're in that course to the outcome of the course is not I want to get better at Notion, the tool. It's just about I want to feel like I'm in control of my life.
Yeah.
But here's the truth, right? Especially if you're doing something difficult, you'll never have 100% control. Get used to that.
Yeah.
Be like 50% of my life is out of my control. It's me reacting to external things. 50% is planned, out of which only 5% goes according to plan. One of the reasons why I don't spend too much time on documentation these days or Notion these days is because I'm just like, it will not go according to plan. It will just not go according to plan. So we will be a mix of reactive, which is something went wrong, let's fix it right now, and a mix of, hey, this is my plan.
Yeah.
And you need to have the judgment to know which to use when. And that comes from experience. That judgment of whether I should react or I should stick to the plan comes from experience. The more you learn, the more you've been in certain situations. Like for example, I'll tell you one thing, okay? When we hire somebody new and within like 1 week we realize, okay, this person is not good enough, right? Or this person doesn't have the potential. Some people will just say, hey, especially new entrepreneurs will say, hey, we'll give this guy 6 months, 7 months to improve. I know for a fact, on a sample size, we've hired 200, 250 people till now across Avalon. That will not work. If somebody is bad in the first few weeks and they're not like picking things up within like say a month, they're not going to get better after 6, 7 months. It never happens. I've never seen it happen.
Mindset.
Yeah, that's a school mindset that somebody can be,
just refresh. Yeah. No, I've noticed this as well, right? What was I noticing? Something I'd noticed now. I forgot the noticing part. Okay. Yeah, you were talking about things like nothing's in your control. There's literally like 5% that is in your control. The rest of it is unplanned, right? So but a lot of people get scared and want to know how to control this. They have this urge and need to control this. And also from a management perspective, from a time management perspective, it is good to understand a base scenario of that. So even when we do our planning, right, there's a lot of things we know, okay, we're going to launch. How many users are we going to get? That's not something me and you can plan. It might happen, it might get a lot, it might not get any, right? Definitely not get any, but we will get a lot. But we don't know what's going to happen. So in that case scenario, what we usually do is we map out the best case, worst case scenario. Like the extreme best case. I know nothing's in our control, but best case, this much will come. Are we ready for that? Worst case, this will happen. Are we ready for that? 99% of the time, it's not either of those cases. Some weird new case comes into the picture. Yeah. Always. But for the mental piece, we're always like best case, worst case. Worst case, this will happen. Best case, don't worry, it's fine. And then we end up seeing that we go some other route and something else happens all the time. So don't, as Varun said, don't stress too much into the future. You can never control it. But for your own mental health and well-being, or else you'll be one of those panic people, right? Always panicking constantly. Shit.
That's too reactive.
Then you'll make more mistakes, right? And your time, 30 minutes of your day goes in panicking. That is again 30 minutes lost. Just understand that, okay, worst case, best case, done. Chalo, let's move ahead. Let's see what happens. We'll find that worst case, best case faster than wasting 30 minutes of, oh my God.
So, Shashank, last 2 questions, right? Time management when it comes to learning and time management when it comes to relationships. Let's do learning first.
Okay, time management when it comes to learning. So, okay, I don't know about how other people do it, but there are 2 types of people, right? And I've seen you do it also. You're also on different type only. So, I've seen them do it, okay? So, there are some people who pick up something and just go at it. Like, they'll go mental behind it. Like, they're like, okay, I want to learn this say Premiere Pro, and they will go become an expert very fast as possible. Day in, day out, they're only limited to Premiere Pro, sleeping, thinking, drinking Premiere Pro. Then there are some people who do it with a plan. Okay, 1 hour every day I'll keep aside for Premiere Pro.
That never works.
That never works. Yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. There are 2-3 types of people I've seen. Then there's a third kind who wants to learn, who will pick up bits and pieces here, bits and pieces there, and by the end of it, they've given up already. Right? So, I feel if you want to learn something, it actually in today's day does not take so much time to learn anything if you're really passionate about it. Just go berserk and finish off in 3-4 days. Right?
Intense single burst. Focus.
Yes. Take a holiday from work. If you want to learn something new, like say Premiere Pro, Saturday, Sunday or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, just 3 days, lock yourself in a room and just learn. And I've seen you do that.
And be project focused. Like it needs to come out of, the learning needs to come out of majboori.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I have to deliver this, otherwise I'm going to get fired. Some fire like that needs to come under you.
Like put it for yourself as an ego boost, right? Put it in your own thing saying that I have to do this or else I'm stupid. And you will end up doing it, right? And I've seen you do that. You've sat 3 hours or 3 days, 4 days, you'll do something and you'll be like, okay, I know everything. Like I know at least most of it, right? And a lot of people take 2 months, 3 months to do the same thing what you would have done in 3 nights. So, and even that 1 hour, you end up not giving that 1 hour after a particular point, which is again very annoying. So for me, from a work perspective, I think you should just really pick something, make a plan when you will start, and when you start, don't go with a set plan saying I'm going to do task 1, task 2, task 3. Just go absorb as much.
I never do like 1 hour. I'm going to spend 1 hour a day on this, 2 hours a day. Don't do that. Just be obsessed.
Just let it take you.
Obsessed.
Yeah, let the flow take you by itself, right? I've seen a lot of people getting stuck in introduction only for 3 days. Right? What is this? Wow, it does this unnecessary things, but they're so scared to go to
I'll tell you the pattern. Think about whether you do this. You'll see the first episode, then the next thing you do is go open another tab, go to YouTube and say, for example, if you're learning Blender, you'll see the introduction to Blender, then you'll open another tab and you say, Blender salaries.
Yeah.
Then you'll type Blender time to become expert.
How to make money with Blender.
Blender how to make money. Blender artwork of experts.
Yeah.
Which is all useless. Like that's all, it's just to make yourself, it's like you're trying to feed yourself broccoli and you're doing everything you can to kind of, push that spoon into your mouth.
Yeah, and
just swallow it.
A lot of people also quit. They think they know everything, like a premature thing, right? They wouldn't have reached the end. They'll reach chapter 8 out of 10. Like, yeah, I know it. Like, leave it. I figured it out and I know it. And they assume that they know it. And then when they actually start doing that Blender work, they'll be like, shit, I don't know this at all. Right? So you're already building mountains and castles in the air when you've not even entered the gate. That's how it is. So, yeah, I think you should just attack it straight away. If whatever you're learning, whatever it is not difficult. I don't think anything in this world is that difficult that you cannot learn if you put your mind to it. If Elon can become a rocket scientist and stuff like that.
Yeah, do you think Elon will sit and Google rocket scientist salary, rocket scientist experts, rocket scientist tells, like Quora is the worst. Quora, right? People be studying for IIT, and I'll tell you this, people be studying for IIT, they'll go to Quora and they'll type IIT package. And then they'll go to Quora and they'll type IIT best package. IIT
top.
Lowest CTC. Are there girls in IIT? So I've seen all sorts of nonsense. Your brain already has teleported you to IITs. You're studying, you've not started studying whatever, organic chemistry.
Yeah.
But you're Googling this idea that I'm already there.
I swear.
Waste of time.
I've seen a lot of people checking percentile, how much you need, lowest percentile to get in. They're not even opened the book yet, but they're looking at percentile, how to get in, which college, full research of nonsense stuff, which college, which professor, where he's sitting, which canteen has that dosa, everything they know, idli dosa. But you don't know what is there in your book, okay? Then they don't get in and they feel disappointed. Shit, I didn't get into IIT. Yeah, so the point is, don't do bakwas research. Do normal research to understand whether what I'm going to learn is good or bad. That's it, enough. Like I think he's made a video also, right? Top 5 digital skills, trending skills and stuff like that. See something in that, see where the trend is going, understand, pick up something. And what's the worst thing that will happen, right? You learn a skill, it's never going to be useless, right? You'll always use it somewhere or the other unless you've learned MS Paint.
And there's that company, that took advantage of these people who don't really code or don't really learn something, but are looking at just packages that teleporting themselves some ideal world instead of like doing work. White Hat Junior.
I actually did that, so at one point I wanted to learn code because everyone around me was saying coding is important, and I'm like, shit, I'm sitting with Varun, he's a technical guy, I'm a finance guy, and we're building these tech products in a tech company, and I'm like, I don't understand tech at all. Like, I literally don't understand tech, okay? So I go to Code Academy at that point, before White Hat was famous. I went to Code Academy and I did that first course, full excitement. I went to that first thing and completed the course where I can print hello world, okay? After that, I shut the laptop and I said, I know coding. I think I know most of it. It's damn easy. Nothing is there, and then I never got time to do it. I'm still stuck at Hello World in my Code Academy account. I've never gone ahead. But then I'm like, I never jumped into it because you know what I thought? Well, then I went and asked Stages, our CTO, right? I'm like, hey, this C++ Java seems very easy. He's like, yeah, then you do this, then you do that, then you do that, then you do that. I'm like, this is some 5 years effort, dude. He's like, yeah, obviously it takes 5 to 7 years. I'm like, I don't have so much time. I'm done. I'm out. I'm finished. But yeah, all these things you should do when you're in college.
True.
Pick up these skills that take you 4-5 years. I can't do that now. So unlucky. But you should pick it up when you're in college, especially when you want to learn some new things. Pick it up in college. But yeah, so
let's talk about the final piece of time management. I'm sure there are others, but let's just cover we're just covering the important ones. Relationships.
Time management for relationships.
Yeah. Like what if your partner feels like you're not giving them time, stuff like that.
That's always there.
Or you're single and you're trying to meet people and you don't have time for that.
Okay, so let's talk about, you're single and you don't have time for it. Okay, so I think when you're single and you're trying to make time for it, actually, first of all, everyone says that, so when people are single and you tell them, why don't you get a girlfriend? Like, my paas time nahi hai, I don't have time, I'm itna calm, so busy and all that. But when hot girl walks in, their eyes are already there and they've already thought of marriage at that point. Okay, so everyone has time. It's not like, as you mentioned, right? Everyone has time. They only give this excuse to make them feel good that, boss, I don't have time. I'm too busy in life. A hot girl comes and they're like, wow, awesome girl. Okay. So I think everyone has time. So when you're trying to meet someone, anyway, it's not like, it'll just fall from the sky. You have to always keep your eyes open and doors open. But when it actually comes in your life, don't ignore it and say, I'm too busy for this. Right? You might be too busy for this, then you'll be alone all your life because you're too busy for it. But when it comes to being in a relationship, there I think there's just two variables, right? Or two types of people that I've seen. One, a really supportive partner goes a long way because they know when you're busy and when you're not, so they don't be like, Babu, you're not giving me time, or Shona, you're not giving me time, those annoying calls that come in the night. And the second type of people are those type of people who after giving time also, they'll be like, you're not giving me time, and that's a little toxic. And then the guy is like, itna time dene ke baad, I'm not being able to give time, I'm going mad. Should I study or give Babu Shona time? So I think a supportive partner goes a long way, and that is very important when it comes to time. So if you have a lot of, like I've seen a lot of couples where there's an expectation that you have to call me at 9 p.m. 10 p.m. every day I have to talk to you. One day if I don't talk to you, then that guy has this fear that next day I'm going to be in big trouble, or same vice versa. So I think it's very important that both of them have to be very supportive in that front, and then it's fine. So be careful about that.
Yeah.
Happy Women's Day. But yeah, be careful about that. That's all I'm saying. But time management, again, it is controllable. The basic myth is I can't control time or I don't have enough time. But I think it's all in your head. You can.
Yeah, I think what most people don't realize, especially young people listening to this, is that once you get married, right? I'm telling you from two married people's perspective who got married recently. A lot of the things that you worried about, especially with relationships, they disappear. Right? I'm not going to dive deep into that statement. You guys can kind of, take it in your own interpretation. But it is no longer necessary to spend copious amounts of time, right? Like you spend, say, in the first week or second week, because you guys really, like you and your partner would understand each other. You'll just get it. You'll have your own lingo. You'll have your own language. Things you say to each other which, other people don't understand. Secondly, you'll know exactly what your partner is thinking many times and vice versa.
Yeah.
Right? So, that actually saves a lot of time. Like for example, my wife will always know when I'm busy. Right? I get lost in my own head. I know when she's busy. I know when she's worried. There's no that. All I would say is that communication gets really good. Really, really good when you're staying with somebody. And once that happens, right, it's free. Time is free. So I feel like I used to think that, before you get married, that's the best time of your life because you can do whatever you want, you have a lot of time. That's not true. It's actually the opposite. You just suddenly find yourself with a lot of free time once you get married and it's been a while. So try to juggle your time as best as you can, like spend some time on relationships, spend some time meeting people, at least making friends, right? Because you never know who you would end up, being with. Unless your idea of an ideal marriage is arranged marriage, that's fine too, right? Then you're safe, like you don't have to waste any time if you're sure you're going to, get arranged marriage or whatever. But don't, like with work at least, or when learning something, I'm focused on one thing. Spend 5-6 days on and I'm done.
Yeah.
But you can't do the same with relationships. You can't say like 5 years of my life now I'm just going to focus on like work and IIT and like whatever and getting like an IIM and this, that and getting a job and getting promoted this. Then I'll think about relationships. That'll never work out. That never ever works out. There, split your attention, right? But after marriage, you can focus again. That's at least...
And when you make a Notion document, don't go and tell your better half, listen, for you 2 hours a day, I'm keeping from 7 to 9 p.m. You'll get belted by them, okay? So don't do all that nonsense. So just give time as much as possible. So you tell me now, 2 things that you feel is most important for youngsters when it comes to time management. 2 most important things according to you.
Have a Notion document.
Okay.
And what's the second one? We touched on something else. Have a Notion document, like plan your life. And number 2, I feel is like, at least when it comes to relationships versus work, splice your time.
Yeah, it's possible.
Learn to switch off at like 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. in the night.
Yeah,
whenever,
it's possible.
Yeah.
So I think for me, the 2 most important thing is, I think look at it like a factory. Okay, if you're manufacturing cars, you see how they estimate time for each individual task. But you become an expert in that, so you automatically save 10 minutes, 15 minutes of your day. You don't have to get up at 5 a.m. and start your day and stuff like that. It depends on when your day starts. You start it whenever you want. Set your own routine, because I've seen a lot of people starting at 5 a.m. and crying for 1 hour. So don't do that. So I would just say, just try to do the same task that you're doing repetitive, do it better off, see how you can optimize that so you save 10-15 minutes of your day. And second, don't cry a lot, don't procrastinate, because I feel that itself is the biggest...
Yeah, don't do these like peripheral things.
Yeah, that's
like
the worst thing.
What is IIT package? Like avoid doing that, like stick to the task.
And in the end, where you end up, like you do IIT package, you go to Quora, then you somehow reach YouTube, and then finally you open Instagram and you come on Reels.
And then you'll end up on Sandeep Maheshwari.
Yeah, you'll see some party or here, some meme is trending, and you'll just keep scrolling, and then you'll be like, shit, 3 hours gone, I don't have time. This is what usually happens.
Yeah. And worst case scenario, if you're Avalon, freeze time.
Yeah, see?
That's it for me.
We spoke for so long and not even 1 minute got wasted. This is called time management.
Okay, like, subscribe, what else? Ting, ting, ting.
See, this Martin reminds us to... Wait, have they liked? But...
Guys,
so disappointing. Every time I have to come and tell them to
400 and something people.
400 and people something. We'll wait for 2
likes.
seconds so that you like it. But again, time management. So we're very busy. So please like fast and we will go see. A lot of people keep giving this thing. So don't worry. You have enough time in life. Okay. So relax, have fun and see you tomorrow.